April 10th, 2023, we had another shooting at Louisville at the Old National Bank in Kentucky. For those of you who are not familiar with my work on this channel, I break down news events and show you the hidden messages underneath that it all reveals the Kundalini awakening. If you'd like more information on this, please watch my other videos or visit my main channel, TrueLove. Here we have some still images from inside the bank of the actual shooter.
This is a still image of the suspect inside the hallway prior to the event. This is a still image of post-shooting of the active shooter victims, where he then went to the front lobby and set up an ambush and waited for officers to respond. He remained in that front lobby where he shot at another couple of people who passed by, and then he waited and allowed him wait for officers to respond, and as soon as he saw them, he shot them. That's where he shot Officer Wilt. Officers cannot see inside this area. It is darker inside than it is outside, and this subject is looking from a higher vantage point out onto them where they cannot see inside what they're approaching.
I think it's pretty obvious the XX of the IXXI pattern on the floor, the shattered glass, which is shattering the illusion, breaking the veil. The office meeting room looks empty.
I think I got him down. I think he's down. Yank the lifter off now. Yank him down the stairs. Where's he at? I can't fucking see. I think he's down. Move it. Yeah. Suspect down. Get the officer. Hey, he's fired from inside here. Huh? He was fired from inside there. I know. He's down. Get the officer.
Cop number 2 moves into the foyer. That looks empty. There's broken glass everywhere. There's no one in the building, no one on the floor, no one screaming, no one securing the area, no blood, no bodies. They do show the body of the shooter, but it is covered up here. I'd also like to point out these windows appear to have serpents on them, and there's 2 of them. This bystander video is not particularly interesting, but the fact that traffic has not been cordoned off while there's active shooting going on in the bank right nearby where people could get hurt is a bit strange. And this police officer darting back and forth doing a dance around this planter looks a little bit like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Another mass shooting in America. You can hear gunfire coming from the downtown Louisville branch of the Old National Bank, just across the street from the Louisville Slugger Stadium.
This happened at the Old National Bank. Old means previous or past. National means of or pertaining to a nation or country regarded as a whole. This is a reference to the merging of the opposites, the merging of male and female, and the left and right hemispheres of the brain, or being whole. Holy. Bank is a riverside or place to store currency. This happened beside the Louisville Slugger Stadium. Slugger is a hard hitter, or to be hit hard. The stadium represents the playing field of life. We have to round the bases or the zodiac to get home. It's a baseball diamond. We need to become a diamond, or our carbon form needs to rise under pressure into Christ consciousness, which is crystallized, or the Emerald City.
He had a long assault rifle and shots to start firing.
This witness's name is Troy, which means foot soldier, and haste, which means urgency. He's wearing a checkerboard shirt for the XX of IXXI.
What did he look like?
I didn't see his face.
Were you in a meeting? Notice he says he did not see the shooter's face, and then the reporter prompts him, "Were you in a meeting?"
What did he look like?
I didn't see his face.
Were you in a meeting?
Yeah, we were in the back conference room.
He also states that he was in the conference room, points at it. The conference room on the ground floor that we passed by at the beginning of this video.
Whoever's next to me got shot and hit bloods on me from it.
Now he was next to someone who got shot, and that's all the blood that got on him.
The alleged gunman was identified on police radio as Connor Sturgeon.
Connor means lover of hounds or dogs. Sturgeon means fish or fishmonger.
Additional on the shooter, 25-year-old white male, Connor Sturgeon.
He was 25 years old, 2 5s for Omega, the head.
6'4". He's called a friend, left a voicemail. He's going to kill everyone at the bank.
His LinkedIn profile identifies him as a junior executive at the bank. He has a master's degree in finance from the University of Alabama. Police were at the branch within 3 minutes of the first shots fired at 8:30 a.m. and took immediate action.
The police arrived within 3 minutes of the first shot. So the first shot was at 8:38. The police arrived at 8:41, and then they took the shooter down at 8:44.
Reminding many of the decisive action taken by cops in Nashville at the recent school shooting.
There's really no need for the news to play this footage. However, they choose to in order to re-traumatize everyone from the original event.
Is the expectation. That's what we train as police officers to do. We don't wait for any specialized units. We go in and deal with the threat. Every second counts, and we've seen situations in the past where delays have meant lives.
5 people are dead, including the shooter, who was taken down by cops.
As I said before, this event happened at 8:38 a.m. at the top of the spine, 333 Main Street. Main represents the spine, and 33 represents the 33 vertebrae of the spine. This is also why it happened at the top of the stairs. The stairs represent the spine. This is where we are judged as to whether we will pass through the Lion's Gate.
8 others were injured, 2 in critical condition.
Officers down on the steps.
The shooter has an angle on that officer. We need to get up there.
Shooter has an angle on the officer.
The massacre happened a half hour before the bank opened. Workers who got away locked themselves in the bank vault as gunfire erupted.
People lock themselves in the vault. The vault is the fornix. The fornix is the tomb. This is where we wait to ascend. The vault, being the fornix, is Fort Knox, where your gold is stored. And what do we have here but 2 lions guarding a clock over a door surrounded by bricks? Can you tell me what this represents?
The governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, rushed to the scene. For him, it was personal. He banks there.
So the governor is Andy Beshear. The governor is the head, the ruler. He's the captain, the pilot. Andy is Adam, the man, Handy Andy. Beshear means to shave or to shear hair. He's the barber.
This is awful. I have a very close friend that didn't make it today. And I have another close friend who didn't either, and one who's at the hospital that I hope is going to make it through.
That close friend was identified as Tommy Elliott. The other victims were all executives at the bank. We're learning that the alleged killer was a track star.
They have the shooter in a Floyd shirt that's yellow and green. Floyd means gray-haired or gray, which is of a color between white and black, having little to no color or luminosity, merging of black and white. Now, they said that he was a track star. This could be a reference to the tracks. If you recall from my Back to the Future video, the car left tracks every time it went from one reality to another.
In high school and played basketball. Peyton Rogers was a schoolmate. Her friend dated Connor Sturgeon.
She told us that he had grabbed her arm really hard.
So they show him in green and they show her in green. And green is another form of gray, because green is in the middle of the rainbow spectrum and gray is in the middle of black and white. So green is the heart chakra or neutral, and gray is another form of neutrality. Her shirt is a Nike shirt, which means victory people.
And she showed us, and she had a bruise of like a finger imprint on her forearm. He was very rude. He was mean over messages and in person, and very mean, kind of cold-hearted almost.
Interesting how she describes him as cold-hearted. Cold-hearted would be the gray versus the green.
By all appearances, the boy next door, until his act of madness today.
And so this morning, the country is once again mourning and reeling from another mass shooting. We're now learning that the gunman who killed 5 co-workers at a bank in Louisville, Kentucky, recently found out he was going to be fired.
The fact that he recently found out he was going to be fired as opposed to actually was fired is very unusual. Most people are very careful to fire people not before a weekend due to tendencies in case of mental illness that they might harm themselves or others, and they tend to do it swiftly so that the person doesn't do this sort of thing.
The bank manager tells CNN the employee opened up fire in a conference room during a morning meeting yesterday. Can you imagine that, going to work and that happens? Police say the shooter live streamed this bloody rampage on social media before police officers killed him in a shootout. And investigators say a rookie police officer was shot in the head and is fighting for his life this morning in the hospital. He just graduated from the police academy less than 2 weeks ago.
This rookie officer was shot in the head. His name was Nicholas Wilt. Shot in the head refers to the pineal gland opening. Nicholas means victory people or Nike, and Wilt means place by a stream.
The church. Adrian Broaddus is live covering this for us in Louisville this morning.
The shooting happened in Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville is the village or city named after Louis. Louis means famous in war, and it connects back to victory. If you've been following my decodes on the movie Don't Worry Darling, there's a reference to the victory people or Nike in there because they live in the Victory Project. Nike has been shown in many of my decodes, including this event. Kentucky means meadowland or at the head of a river. It's also the land of tomorrow. This is also mentioned in my Don't Worry Darling videos. Louisville is right on the border of Kentucky and Indiana, as well as Ohio and Tennessee. Indiana refers to Indian or the middle pillar, the space between the two hemispheres of the brain. Its name also derives from the Indus River. Also shown on the map is Frankfurt, means free fort. It comes from ford, meaning river crossing. This is referring to the bridging of the gap between hemispheres across the water or cerebrospinal fluid in the brain. Ohio is next to it, also meaning beautiful river, again referring to the cerebrospinal fluid. And Tennessee means bend in the river. So Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, and Tennessee all refer to rivers. This is the meeting place of the four rivers. This is a reference to the headquarters, Mount Meru, the four-leaf clover, the place in the head where all four rivers meet. Really bothers me that a lot of this footage is on a vertical frame. If you're not familiar with my work, I point out how a lot of times, not every time, but a sign that there's, let's say, a tragedy is the use of vertical frame videos because you can restrict the visibility of the frame.
The search for motive begins in Louisville, Kentucky, after police say a 25-year-old bank employee shot his co-workers, leaving at least 5 dead.
The suspect shot at officers. We then returned fire and stopped that threat.
Police shot and killed the gunman, Connor Sturgeon.
Connor, as we already covered, means lover of hounds or dogs. Sturgeon means fish or fishmonger, fish being the old age of Pisces, and a fishmonger sells fish. He came to the old National Bank to kill his colleagues who weren't able to pass through the gates. Bank is the edge of a river as much as it is the storage place for currency, so the fish in the water are the fish in the bank. The Gnostic meaning of fish, or the hidden meaning of fish in the Bible, refers to higher wisdom. This is taken from the website Path of the Gnostic. You will see the terms right side or right hand countless times in the Bible. This is referring to your higher spiritual nature, as the left side or left hand signifies the material or physical world as it pertains to the lower emotional nature. Jesus tells them to cast the net or awareness to the right side, so focus all your attention on your higher spiritual nature, love, compassion, etc., and you will catch fish or gain higher wisdom. When the disciples, disciplined qualities of the mind, did as instructed, they caught a multitude of fishes.
Investigators say he was still firing his AR-15 style rifle when officers arrived. The shooter had worked at Old National Bank.
The shooting happened at the Old National Bank. A bank is a natural earthen incline bordering a body of water. We just determined that the event is surrounded by rivers, and this is the bank of those rivers.
For more than a year, but a law enforcement source says Sturgeon was recently told he would be fired. The source says Sturgeon wrote a note to his parents and a friend indicating he was going to carry out a shooting at the bank. It's not clear when the note was found.
I got a call from my wife panicking that she was locked in the vault.
We have a witness whose wife was locked in the vault. His name is Caleb, which means wholehearted or dog-like, and Goodlet, which means good lad or good boy. So that's two references to dog. We had another reference to dog in Connor. Connor is a lover of hounds or dogs.
Police say the shooter live streamed the attack to Instagram. It was also streamed to a Monday morning bank meeting. Rebecca Bitchute Sims, a manager at the bank, tells CNN.
Rebecca means to tie or bind. Bitchute means butcher or executioner. Sims means the listener. So she's the listener on the other side watching the execution.
Sims says she watched from her computer as her co-workers were gunned down in the conference room.
And she watched from her computer as her co-workers were gunned down in the conference room. This reminds me of Under the Silver Lake, when Sam watched Sarah from a computer screen, unable to reach her as she was in the tomb. But the vault is the tomb, not the conference room. Since the conference room is in the bank at the top of the stairs at 333 Main Street, it seems these people were at the top of the spine and did not make it past the 88 Lions Gate because Pontius Pilate judged them not to be worthy of passing. What also reminds me of Under the Silver Lake is the dog lover, the lover of hounds. Connor has come to the bank to shoot the hounds. Hounds are the dogs. Dog is God backwards. Dogs live in the lower mind.
She says she didn't work directly with the alleged shooter, but knew him to be, quote, extremely intelligent with a low-key temperament.
She says she didn't know him, but she knew him to be extremely intelligent. Intelligence comes from the word gnosis, to see, perceive, have mental perception, mind, thought. Temperament is a combination of the four elements: hot, cold, moist, dry, earth, air, water, fire. Low key means not high or below the usual level, and key opens doors. Low key also sounds like Loki. Loki is the trickster god.
SWAT teams raided the gunman's home Monday afternoon as officials praised the quick action of first responders.
It's got to be about them and the heroic actions of everybody who responded.
If you like this video, please show your support for my channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute. Contributions over $15 will receive a link to the Johnny Depp Dark Shadows material, so please be sure to include your email address. Kindly visit my website, subscribe to my backup channels, join the Discord group. All links are in the description box below. Thanks for listening. Hope you're having a great day. Bye for now.